Sorry, guys. We are recording. I guess we'll get started. I'll go ahead and call the commissioners meeting to order.
Call the council meeting to order.
First off, I think we're gonna skip the health department and let's have the town of Kingman.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just gonna introduce myself and, you know, those one for some of them. Okay, I'm Kimberly Brown, town clerk for the town of Kingman. And along, Gary Ladd is our English County engineer for our sewer project. Anything or?
Yeah, just wanted to request why and how much money you're spending all together. This is a small part of what you're asking.
So I will let you touch on the numbers.
Okay.
But just really quick, I just wanted to say, both of our utilities are in dire need. Our sewer plant, you can highlight more technical things, but basically it's a train wreck at the moment. We're band-aiding and surviving as much as we can. And then our water side has issues as well. But we can touch more on the numbers and the more specifics. What are we doing?
Okay, well, we received bids back in July for a new treatment plant upgrade, which consisted of a new air plant to replace the existing failing treatment plant that they have. Also, we proposed to put in flying screen in the treatment plant. Screen wastewater before we get into the airlock plant. The new disinfection system and so on and so forth, I guess. But we took bids on the projects and they came in at $3.19 million. The town had a loan and grant that they received from USDA Rural Development. That was back in 2018. The initial phase of the first project that they undertook was to line some sewer lines. And I think that was about $1 million worth of work. So essentially we had $2.457 million left. And they said it was 3.19. So we were like $800,000 short to be able to do everything that we wanted to do. So, and that was the low bidder in Schaumburg and Illinois. And we discussed things that we could possibly cut, value engineer, and get the project down the budget. And what that resulted in was also deletion of the screen that I referred to earlier. And the plant operator really wants to screen. And it is a vital part of the process. But we did meet the building, we could go to the top of the screen. We deleted some upgrades that we had to the existing control building. We were also going to decommission the existing polishing pond within the treatment plant. I think we're going to do away with that. We were also going to get rid of the sludge grinding beds and put them in the slab and put the sludge dumpster in lieu of that. It was probably set the new dumpster on top of the grinding beds and allow those to act as the drain. So bottom line is, if we cut the screen building and all that other stuff out and keep the screen, we're still around $400,000 short of that fund. So we're here to, you know, request the, some funding if it's there.
What's the plus amount? You said 400 plus. I mean, you have what your bid is and what your quote is.
Yeah, including, of course, we like to keep some contingencies as part of the project, and I put a 3% contingency in there for unforeseen, we might have come during the construction. But including that, there would be, we're short about $459,942.
Commissioners are already approved through us to fund this. So we've approved up to 400,000 or whatever it is. What is it? 450.
450 was held for.
And they had to put money into the project because we wanted them to have skin in the game, so.
Well, they got plenty of skin.
Our loan is 810,000, and I just wanted to add that we have raised our rates as required by USDA to meet what their minimum would be. And so, like, our minimum for 2,000 gallons is $40. And so, with a water project in the rear view mirror coming up fast, we will also have to raise our water rates. And it's a struggle for our citizens, it really is, where our poverty level, our is pretty high at our poverty level. And I'm guessing we probably have one of the highest as far as in the county, minimum rates. And it's gonna go up again when we have to do, I'll render an agreed order for both water and sewer. We have to do this, we have no choice. But our citizens certainly could not bear an additional rate hike on the sewer side. It's coming on the water side, but on the sewer side, I hear about it all the time. So, but we do appreciate your consideration very much.
Do I have any questions? Yes, Carol.
Population, about 500.
Pretty similar to the world.
Kendall, what did you say that water was testing? I didn't hear those figures. Did you give any figures about what the water was testing, drinking water? And the sewer, the whole bit?
You know, on our water side, we have arsenic issues. And so in fact, we're actually doing a pilot study out of a company out of Arizona. They're gonna be setting that up for the next couple of weeks, testing a cartridge system. But that's a whole nother animal, but we're fighting arsenic all the time in our water. Chemicals have to go into it to make it pass the test. So, like I said, we have no choices. We're under a great order, and IBM is not in this great market.
I will make a motion to match the commissioner's grant at 450,000.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Good. All those in favor of the 450,000?
And I think, that being said, I think with the town of Hillsborough, we have a contract so that when expenses are incurred, you would work with the auditors for auditing purposes to say we're past and audit all this.
Sure.
So I'll let you work, you know, with her in that and the attorneys to get that.
And you tell me what to do and when to do it all. I'm trying to get it tomorrow. But, well, I need to close on Wednesday.
Okay.
My office might call over in the morning. Okay. So I will, yeah, just whenever we get together and talk.
So that way you can move forward and she can have everything she needs on her part.
We will get out of town. Okay.
Feel free to leave if you don't want to stay.
Just before you leave, Tom has another question for you.
Kendra, I called you, here all back about that grant, Netco. I think you said that Kingdom was not be able to take part of that grant, wasn't eligible.
I can't remember what the specifics were, there was something specific. And our water operator, I sent it on to him. I can't remember what the specific was, I still have that newspaper article that you sent to me. And it had something, I'm sorry, but I can't remember. It was something specific, a specific issue with the water that the funds were for, and it wasn't an issue we were having, if that makes sense.
Well, it does, but I read the article in Texas where a lot of that stuff is coming out of. They got to, just no matter. If you could get it, that would be.
Yeah. That
I
would be
mean, we're
wonderful.
doing, oh, I don't know, you know, can we get in there somehow? That would help.
Was that the one from mines? That was mine.
No. I can't remember what the specific was, but I said. We have another set of engineers that are helping us with our preliminary engineering report for our water project, and I sent that on to them. It's just one of those things that's kind of above my pay grade. I just send it on and it's like, is this possible? We have a grant administrator and she's great, and helps us with all of those things. They just gave the impression that it was something that wasn't specific to our needs, so hopefully they're wrong. But I know we tried for SWIFT money as well.
That's over $1 million.
That would put a small dent on our water side.
Well,
Our water side's about 3 million at this point. And you can just drive to the and look at our tower, and that's just one of our needs.
all right, thanks.
I appreciate that.
Spokesperson or all of you.
Oh, okay.
You're next.
Well, we presented a couple of times here, so the reason we're coming back again is, we felt like we had support, so we want to address some specific needs. I know there was some concern about whether we had enough people to use the facility. This is regarding the incubator, small business incubators that we're building in Attica. And then there was some concern that we could continue to support ourselves once it's up and running. So we have some data now associated with that. We had a small window to capture it, so it doesn't really tell the full story. But one of the things that I wanted to put on the table today is, you know, originally we did talk about the 750. It's still the same number. That's what it requires to actually do the bill. So I can't change that. However, we came back and we said, well, if you could afford 500,000 and then you would go for no interest loan somewhere, that would be very helpful. The issue is that the building requires that kind of investment, and it does not work with exit stairs, but they don't exist. And utilities and so forth, it hasn't been touched in over 70 years. And so for the type of product that we're putting in the building, which is a high traffic commercial product, it will require that kind of investment. And, you know, if we went out and built it ground up, we'd be in the same ballpark. And so one of the things that I think we talked about, but I want to emphasize this as we go forward. The city, it is a countywide product, and I think we're able to show that in our response to Facebook. But the city has invested a tremendous amount of money and will do that over the next few years because they have a downtown that is disintegrating. And Attica's downtown, as you know, was a very prominent spot in the community historically. And it is something that people were very proud of. And it helped that city grow over time. It's an absolute albatross at the moment. You know, you bring in new businesses, and the first thing you do is they look at downtown like, don't want anything to do with this. And we had that experience. I had that experience for 2.5, 3 years. So we have to address that. That's a separate issue from the small business incubator. But with this product, we actually get an enormous help on many fronts. So we've got generational changes. We have older people leaving, younger people aren't staying, partly because they do not have some of the opportunities that they can get in larger communities. We have the downtown, which I just talked about, it's a historic downtown that we'd like to preserve, or at least recapture. And then we also have, and I think this is probably more important than anything, this is a personal opinion. We have a disintegrating and, let's say, lack of growth in our small business community. And that's not Attica, that's the whole county. And so what happens is if you're starting out, it's tough, it's really tough. Even if you're really well educated, have great resources and so forth, it's very tough to make a business work on its own, because we all know that small businesses rely on other small businesses and other people to pull it off. What's happening in Attica is really fascinating and disturbing at the same time. Is the shift is happening so quickly, generational shift, is that we have 90 businesses today, we are not going to have 90 businesses 3-4 years from now, because generationally, the younger generation is not picking up. They're either leaving or they're working low-paying jobs, and there's a handful of people that are, because they have the resources to do it, but it's not near what it was or near what it needs to be sustainable. So, I mentioned this a few times. There's one other thing that this does in sort of a roundabout way. Attica School is losing population, and they don't even have enough students for their sports teams. It's getting bad. So the last thing we want is for the state to come in and shut down the school system. Because if they do that, Attica loses a vital part of the community. And if they do that, and I know some would disagree, but I would argue that Covington's in trouble too. Not because they're in trouble based on population, but because if the state comes in and decides where their students are going to go, they're not shipping them to Covington. There's no direct route to Covington. They're building a new school in between. Now that's hypothesis, but I talked to the superintendents, I had this conversation, and that's what they're doing. So we can't just think in an isolated way that Covington's great and we can just sort of move on. I don't think that's the case at all. I think that if we don't address this, not to be alarmist, but if we don't address it, we have a serious issue in Attica. Now, Harrison Steel's doing great. There are a handful of businesses that are doing great, but the underlying small business community, and therefore the underlying middle class, is struggling greatly, and it's changing overnight. So one thing that Small Business Incubator will do is help us build this middle class back. For anybody that's owned a small business, there's greater wealth building opportunities by owning a business than there is by working for someone else. And usually, or typically, the middle class has come from the small business community. So that's my pitch. I think it's serious. And I'm not trying to be dramatic. I think it is serious. We've been looking at it for 3 years, trying to solve it. The county did not have an economic development arm. And so the city saw that it was a serious problem related to the school, and that's why they hired me. And we've spent 3 years coming to this point. And, we're just going to have to solve that. But I wanted Brian to turn it over to him. He's done a lot of work on this recent question. So,
Let me touch on something Ron said before you started. I'm 54, I'm not ancient yet, because I've been around the block. I started small business. I sold Boy Scout popcorn, 6:30 a.m. newspaper out. Helped my dad start a fine store in the 5th grade. Nothing has changed small business since the Great Depression, other than the internet and COVID. Nothing like it. The world, just nothing like it. So that goes along with what he was talking about. Thank you. I know this is the 3rd time I've spoke to you. I'm not exactly great in the group, a little uncomfortable speaking in public. So I know if I'm uncomfortable, you're pretty uncomfortable listening to me for the 3rd time. Pass these around, and then I'll get started. A lot of you have seen these. These are the letters that I emailed to all the council members. They're letters of support.
There's about 25 of them, and that may not seem like a lot, but if you go. If you go to a group of people and ask, hey, can you give me a half hour of your time to write a letter of support and send me something? That makes 25 letters seem like a whole lot, because it's hard to do a half hour. Right now, this is how I see it. In Fountain County, in Attica, right now, there's a moment in time. All of these factors are coming into play. And yes, there's a lot of bad things happening, bringing us down. But we have a moment in time now, there are some great things out there, if we capture them, we can really make a change. Several years ago, Attica did a comprehensive plan. From that comprehensive plan, they did some key things. They set up the right organization, they put the right policies into effect. We established the Attica Economic Redevelopment Committee. They came up with policies like the food and beverage tax to develop economic development money. Our TIPS done, which by the way, our TIPS done last year, we just had our annual meeting. Our incremental value went from $3 million to $6 million. Now, there's a couple of reasons, obviously, assessed values went up, but we got a Tractor Supply, we had some investment in some industry, and it's a great thing. We're going to generate a lot more money there. That does not even include the brand new national chain that's being built right now to be open. It does not include the brand new national chain that's going to go right across the street that'll probably be closed in a couple of months. That does not include all of the tremendous commercial interest in the State Road 28 corridor there. And there's a lot coming. So I'll back up, I got a little ahead. We have these organizations, we have these policies. From that, we developed this master plan. And this, if you haven't seen this master plan, let me know. I'll share a copy of it. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Anybody you show it to is impressed, loves it. Okay, so I've been using this master plan to give to out-of-town developers, to national chains, and they see this and they just love this master plan. We try to get it, but it's still, we get there one day. I'll have it to you tonight. No, it's by the county. Oh, the county, okay, it's been a great tool for me. I'll give you a couple of examples. These are my better examples. I took this master plan to a company called Excel Capital. They're out of Philadelphia. They specialize in small, rural, slightly economically depressed areas and inner cities. Now, they're capitalists, they're business guys, really nice. They love to make a dollar as much as anybody, that's why they're in business. But they're kind of, I really like them because their approach is very similar to mine. Sure, they want to run a good business, make some money, but they want to do it for the good of something. When somebody walks out the door, they want a good feeling. So that's why they focus in these small rural areas in these inner cities, and they found their niche to work. So Excel Capital is bought property in Attica. They're going to develop housing on that, probably going to start early next year. The master plan is what sold these guys. The second they saw it, the answer is this simple: Brian, we want to be a part of this. It's that simple. We have another company, Hopkins LLC. They own 2 properties in Attica, both downtown. They really specialize in residential leased housing, but they have a big building downtown. They're renovating it. I have not seen it, but the people that have been inside said, you know, are giving me great reports. Brian's doing nice work. This is quality stuff. It's not, which you could see out there like that. I sold them another property, which is actually right next door to a market, right in part of downtown, right across the street from where we want to put this incubator. Now it's the newspaper building. The newspaper didn't have any place to go, so they left them there. They let them lease that building for a while, but they're just kind of holding it. They're looking for ideas. They're looking for a tenant. Okay, we've talked about some really cool things like just taking the top off that building, putting rooftop seating up there, or a restaurant, a bar right by the market. But these out-of-town people, this master plan is what's selling. It's stuff like this. The business incubator, co-working space is the keystone of this plan. This is the kind of things that these people want to see. You know, I've seen it work. I know in my bones this incubator is going to be helpful. With the outside investors. The other thing I want to do is solar farms. I think that we don't know what effect that's gonna have on our community, but we're all very hopeful that this is gonna have a very positive economic impact and will do some good positive things with this money. So we have all these things going. It's bringing in tremendous opportunities in Attica. And just want to make the point that a lot of these opportunities are because of plans like this. I am even seeing interest from some of the things I work on in Attica now coming to Covington. There's no reason why this incubator can't call it Covington, Kingman, Hillsborough, Lofton. I mean, it can just keep going. There's that. I've shown you the letters of support. The next thing I want to show you. I did a Facebook last week. I'll pass it. Anyone want to see that? I do need one of those copies back. Me and my great computer skills. After the Word document. Last week I did a Facebook post. I'm just gonna take a guess here, probably some of you in this room are not big Facebook users, probably don't understand that. Some of you may be. Some of the feedback we did, some of the concern was, we just don't think there'll be enough users. We just don't think this is a viable idea. So I wanted to address that. We did a Facebook post asking for interested parties, a preliminary list. Would you, we put some nice pictures on, told them what we were doing, gave them an idea of price. And within the matter, Facebook, you put a post on, it's pretty well done in about 2 days, Trish. That's all it was. No one's gonna see. So in 2 days' time, we got 19 people on the site. I mean, that was very impressive. That quick in 2 days' time, we got 19 interested parties. It showed me a lot. Maybe more importantly here than those 19 users is that this post was shared 120 times. And again, that number may not mean anything to you folks, but that is huge. I've used Facebook as a marketing tool for many years. Done it very successfully. I've had huge sales. I've sold houses. I ran a store in Attica called the Clearance Aisle. It was very popular, it was very busy. My best Facebook post there ever. This thing had 7,000 followers in the town of 3,000 people. My best Facebook post there ever reached about 18,000 people, and it was only shared 45 times. This was shared. It's extremely tough. So we have good interest. I just want to note, it's only 19 names. It's serious communication, serious work on getting users to come closer to the project site. The last thing I want to share with you, keep going a long time, is we work together and we get to develop a budget, and we wanted to show it to you that we're going to be economically viable. So I'll pass that on and take a look at that. I maybe should. So when I put this budget together. When I put this budget together, thank you, Brenda. Appreciate that. I mentioned before. I wasn't going to give them time. So when you do a startup budget, small business budget, you can have a couple different mindsets. The particular mindset I had when I did it was to be pretty conservative on the income side, not vastly conservative, not aggressive, but I took what I really thought we could do and lowered that a little bit. I want to be a little bit conservative. On the expense side, most of the time when I do startup budgets or an idea budget, I get pretty aggressive on the expense side and make those expenses high because I want to see that number really going to work. But on this one, I know these buildings like that. I know what they cost. I work with these budgets. These numbers are pretty high. There's going to be changes, obviously. This expense side,
That's pretty good.
So if you look at on the income, you know, projected monthly income of $8,525. We've got a total expense of $5,516, proposed net income $3,000 a month, $36,000 a year. So with this budget, this gives us a tool to say, not only is it sustainable, we actually probably will make some money here, put back into economic development, back into the county, back into this. And one last point on this budget, I want to really point out is the income side. And I think when you, if you folks are concerned about whether this is going to work or not, I want you to see that we have 7 different income streams. We don't just have 1 or 2. We have 7 different ways there to make money. And our board is full of people who own small businesses and have ideas. I guarantee you, Trish and Sharon and I can sit down in an hour and come up with all ways.
You also did not include in that, if I might point out, the money that are coming from the market. So the reason the market's there is it's part of the overall product, but it also helps support that one. There's going to be ebbs and flows and that'll be a cash flow we can move on out.
Yeah. I've taken up a bunch of your time. Does anybody have any questions? And then
On the 250 low interest or less loan, where will be a part of that? Yeah. Fall process or that's being done.
We were originally asking, so if we don't get your line.
Well, still maybe reaching that, what I'm probably using that for. Generally, it's already set up, so radiation plant stuff, so that light and outrage.
That's full cost $35,000.
And actually, the reason I focus was it's going to have a example. Yeah, it doesn't have an elevator.
Well, yeah, it's fine.
I don't think it should. They put that as. Okay.
It's so expensive to do that, like I said, it's
It's also more than massive.
yeah.
We have been working with the school system, but obviously the school system owns it. And we have been talking about, market for power, trades and so forth. So there are other opportunities for that building.
Housing there.
Yeah,
The other thing is, I mean, there are lots of things that you done with that rolling that piece of property. It's prime real estate. There's lots of things that can do there. I think the other answer would be, first of all, I just don't think it's safe to city money. It's a huge building that's very expensive. It's the reason they're closed. But the other answer would be, we want this incubator, we want this co-work space in the park. It's gotta be there. It doesn't have to be in this building, but it has to be part of it. That part of it is extremely important.
yeah, part of the market, part of the whole incubator story. So
We're trying to change the trajectory of our downtown.
We're trying to fix lots of things in town. We're trying to fix housing, we're short, trust me. I mean, I get called all the time, and even now that real estate is starting to slow down, there's still people out there that can't find housing. Rental and all kinds of things. We get is, right now, in our early stages, we've really been focused on this economic development after. But at the heart of it, we're not just economic development, we're community development. We're economic development, housing, community development, but it all goes back to one thing. Quality of life. Just trying to, the reason we're losing residents is because our quality of life can be better. To make the quality of life better, it's just one issue.
So before we move on, I wanted to introduce Scott Voorhees and Trish are both council members from the city of Attica, and then of course Jeremy, state representative. But what if you give a chance if you want to jump in and have support, you don't have to.
I appreciate this. I'll just be brief. I know how these meetings turn into 2 and 3 hours, but appreciate your consideration. We've as a council and as leadership, our downtown is needing some serious stuff. And we got a lot of skin in the game, we put a lot of funding in there, we've got a lot of great things going on with the marketplace. And your assist will be really good. Communities like Covington, many others that are growing and prospering. And ours is not the case for downtown, we need some. These things we have going on, so to not only help us grow, but it's going to help a lot of tax revenue in the county. Let's continue to grow, pull more people, some of the younger generation in Lafayette, West Lafayette, as well as those points. We're already seeing it. We've got housing issues and services. That's what we've got to work on. We really appreciate the additions.
Anybody else?
And I would say, being a historic preservationist, former Indian Market Board member, this is the opportunity to save one of our buildings downtown that is in reasonable condition. We already do a new landmarks grant that we're able to use on the outside of the building. So we worked hard on the opportunities to figure out how best to save this keystone of downtown. It's what we know is that we can save this one building, make it a productive building. It'll help create that catalyst to grow and deal with the rest of it. We already know we have an investment in two buildings somewhere, just kind of weird. We also know we have this smart that's gonna go right across the street that the council has already set aside money for. And we also know that the city has purchased a bunch of the buildings that are going to be torn down as the process of the over. Like, so there's just all this huge momentum that's happening right now. So it's the timing is perfect. We can move forward.
And like I said before, not only are we saving the building, but we're also creating green smart entrepreneurs. You know, with all of the plans that we have as far as helping small businesses grow and having programs for them and meeting people where they are and talking to them and developing small businesses that are going to help the county. You know, Attica is part of this county, and a win for Attica is a win for the county. A win for Kingman is a win for the county. A win for Covington is a win for the county. You know, we can't look at one isolated event saying, oh, that's, you know, a gift just for Attica. It's a gift for Taos County. So, you know, it's a whole county. So, and we want to do it for everybody in the county, not just for us. It just happens to be that we happen to be the movers and shakers right now in Attica. So we want this for our city really badly. I grew up in Attica. That's where my heart is, and that's where I remember the downtown when it was moving, and it was quite feeling. You know, when I used to go to the dime store and buy things with my grandmother, and I want that back for the kids of this generation to remember downtown. My kids don't remember downtown.
So let me finish up. You guys asked a leg and I was going to shut this down. Have a meeting. As you know, I'm actually working on the project itself, the South. It's a nature resort, and it's something that I am personally developing. And it happened after I started with Attica. Essentially, I looked around at the condition of the county and Warren County and so forth, and can we support this product that I'm bringing in? And I realized pretty quickly, not just for Attica, but for the whole area, we need strong communities. We need them to be stronger than they are. I think it's a fantastic community. I grew up here. I understand it. I still really value it over anywhere else I live. But for me to invest what I'm investing and to ask other investors to invest, that's really tough to do in a community that's heading down. And when I say down, I mean demographically, economically, so we can shore this up. It's not lost, and Covington's doing a great job. But I think Attica has potential because of its proximity to West Lafayette and the tourism trade and so forth. And then Covington can come online with
raise donations, why not? There's potential here, we just need to capture it, and this really is the moment. But I'll leave it, you guys ask away if you want to ask questions. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
I have any questions?
I saw anyways, some type of information with a student, business student. Then I hear that, you don't have any students filling up the elementary and, moving out of town. Yeah, you wanna invest in a business that might not have enough people to support it. Immediately in the city. Cause you're going to have a little bit of time to get people outside of your city to get involved. See what you're doing, but. I just wonder about these students that are in business classes. That want to take advantage of the integrated classes and entrepreneurship. Is it just Attica that you talk to, or who talk to? Who talk to Attica?
Right, regarding the business courses, it's a pathway. The state requires pathways for students, I think starting this year. And Attica won a grant to create the business pathway. So it is specific to Attica this year, but next year, and therefore, they're trying to roll it into the vocational program that is countywide. So, and they'll be working with Seeker as well, because they're all in the same network. But initially, it is just Attica as the launch because they're the ones that won the grant. And so what we've done is we've partnered with Sarah Matter and the guidance counselor, the ones that achieved that grant. We've partnered with them and we've offered to include that program in our effort. So all of the classes that are available to adults trying to start a business are available to those students. And then what we did in turn is they have a work study program that they will institute. And that work study means we'll get high school students helping us manage the market and helping tenants, set up shop for the weekend and run POS. So they're going to get first-hand knowledge in a way we would never get any other way. And they'll do that through a course program, which is really tremendous. We had talked to the state a little bit. I don't think we talked about that when we had the conversation, but they're also interested as well because the keystone of this program is training and community building, business community building. And they were very excited about that. So when we talk about, I don't want to conflate the two, when we talk about demographics and the path of demographics, you can go back 20 years, 10 years, and so forth. And there are studies that have identified where your population is going, whether it's getting younger, older, what have you, and then where the economics are going. That's what I'm referring to. I'm not referring to anything specific regarding the people that live there today. I'm referring to the studies that have shown that we are gradually fading away, right? And that's what we're trying to shore up. And we can do it. I just recognize what's happening in Attica because we can see it day to day. We can see people moving on and no one filling the gap. And so that's really where our issue is. So this captures kids in school. They may not stay, they may go and come back, but we'll capture more doing this than if we did nothing, right? And then we're going to get those 20 somethings and 30 somethings. I've got a nephew that's 20, and he's not going to go on to college, and he's struggling to figure out where to live, what job to take. I mean, it's just not the same world that I grew up in the 80s. So that's what we're trying to solve.
So the hopes is that by creating this niche and the students utilizing it through their pathways program, it's going to teach them a skill that they could actually, upon graduation, just go into the workforce or go on to school somewhere, taking that knowledge with them, or potentially working with Ivy Tech in the school in an incubator to create a
That's right.
program.
There are other layers that
Right.
can be layered on as we move forward. The key is, if you come out of school, and I know this from personal experience, you probably do as well. When you come out of school, there has been for probably the last 30 years, a push for you to go to college somewhere else, right? And if you do not have, if you're not a part of the wealth of the county, you don't have land coming into your lap or, what have you, then you're going to the city. Because there's nothing really here for you, there's no vision for sure that you can capture and run with, because no one's telling you it's possible or showing you the runway.
Right.
It's not happening. And so that's why we're losing kids, because they don't have either the educational support, the runway to do it, or the financial support to do it. So the other thing we didn't mention is we are working on the seed money. We haven't got that far, but the idea is if you want to start a small business, we'll have seed money available to you. And there are programs in the state that we can connect with to make that happen. So,
Now, the other thing that I kind of want to touch on is the course program. Then there are mentors that are involved in that, to go alongside that student, to help them, is this really what we want to do? They want to go into business, offering sort of like kayaking or something.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's going to be someone that will walk alongside them and help them through this process. And that's kind of what, the growth of these vocational schools, maybe that's not how things are working out that well. So, we're kind of going to this format.
it's entrepreneurial community, that's what we're doing. So people are inspired and they have a support system to actually, for instance, we could use an outfitter right now on the Wabash River, Pine Creek, whatever, we don't have it. And so I've approached Ron Criswell and some others to see if they would do it, but we keep going back to the same people who, who are overworked and have made their money, right? We should have 20-something coming online with the support of the community to install that, horseback riding. Yes, it's great with horseback riding, but if we wanted to send someone there to do it, it's not set up. The business isn't running. So there's just tremendous opportunity that we're not able to tackle today. That's really the issue.
So what we're here tonight isn't really the running. You guys have done a fabulous job setting this all up. Appreciate all the hard work you've put into it. What we're talking about tonight is funding for a building that's going to be there forever. A historic part of Van Down Act, that regardless of whether this thing works in 2 or 3 years, that building is always going to be there, restored. Somebody's going to do something. That's correct. That's correct. With all this, what's going to happen and everything, that's really not what we're here. We're here to fund this project for a building that will be here forever and save or help save it down there. Thank Fountain County for investing in that.
Also, I spoke to Pauline, we're not really sure how it will work, but essentially, if you want to review an invoice, you can do that and pay directly or pay into a fund. You don't have to give us a full amount and we spend as we want. So we don't really care about that. If you want some oversight, we're fine. How do you want to set that up?
I know the reporting is different for a separate band that is not for profit. That has come out from the U.S. Treasury, and I can share with Ron that I haven't had a chance to really look at that yet to see what is required for that. I know it's been across the auditor's email list, So we're still hashing that out. No, the reporting, if Fountain County would have to fund this, he's saying that they would turn in invoices and we would pay them, maybe as a possibility. And I shared with him on the phone that I do know that the reporting for a not-for-profit is different than a government entity. Like Hillsborough and Kingman will be, so.
A lot of times I think they can do a grant agreement,
Right.
and then you don't care if you want to do a separate account and fund that, you can do our invoices, whatever.
So. I need to check. Dustin Meeks from, Barton Norberg sent out an email. But it's so wordy, I'm gonna have to call him. So. It can be done, it's just that we can't use that as part of a revenue loss, it has to be in. A different thing on reporting.
I'm sure talking with you, the concern was, oh, we're just gonna turn over a bunch of money and then do with it and. No, it doesn't have to be done like. The invoicing, I think everybody would probably be more comfortable, doing it that way, if they're agreeable, to. Approve this project.
So I sort of title is support this for the reason that. My question is the legality of it, and if we let out the winds,
With the ARPA fund, that was stipulated in there that you could award grants, they call them. And you could give your own stipulation on that. Sorry, my voice is not great tonight. That there was that.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
And I don't think we would want to call it a loan, because that means we'll have to pay it back.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I think they want to do that.
Well, I hold on to legal.
Yeah, so originally.
Really trying to find a way to.
Okay, so originally they had come asking for $750 in full, I believe, from ARPA funds. Not sure that the $750 was fully supported, so they came back to maybe 500 grants, a $250 loan, with a 0% payback. I believe that's in those ARPA funds also. I had heard, but I'm pretty sure we could set that conference. You could do that. I'm pretty sure you could. Yes, yeah.
It's still the same.
It's
mine,
and it's
extra
allocated,
It's Markham line, this isn't Fountain County, it is Fountain County, exactly. But it's not, it's $3.5 million, $3.2 million fell in our lap because of COVID. And we are doing positive things, with Hillsborough, Kingman, hopefully the city of Attica, for Fountain County. I'm not even gonna call it an Attica project, it's a Fountain County. And I'll tell you this, it'll be a Warren County project, it's tons of people. But Warren County will jump across with it, they want to admit it. So it will be probably overwhelmed, we're going to be turning people out. But the main thing is, this isn't local tax dollars that we're spending here. This was basically a gift from the government. We are spending it wisely, it was to be paid to help people out. Every time we use it, to help people. This is a big help to the city of Attica. Or Fountain County, and that's, yeah, these people put in a tremendous amount of work. And every day we put it off order, they lose more money because they've already lost some state funding. Well, because you've been open in January,
Well,
you the
yeah, as a
fire.
And we're about 2.5 months behind, so we're gonna have to figure out how to solve that, but. We'd really like to be up and running so that we can train tenants for the market, which opens next October. And so, this is one piece of a lot of things that are happening.
May I add? We have never had that has not come to county tasks. we pay our bills, we're in good financial shape, and we have never come to the county asking for anything. We do our own business there, and we are very diligent with our books and very financially responsible there. And so we appreciate your consideration.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. For $500,000. $250,000. I would like that.
I would just, if you're going to make a motion, I would do a contingent that it's,
Say,
I would just do a $500,000 loan or a $500,000 grant with a $250,000 loan contingent that it's legally doable.
you would follow
I would call it one, yes, then just verify on the back after, that's the way you want to work.
along. You have approved already.
We just said,
We-
motion up to 750.
Right.
We didn't say how to distribute that.
I think it's in your guys' hands, however, it's doable to come up with that.
I'll make a motion that's 500,000, 200,000, 250,000.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor? Dale, you voting yes? You give it the money? Opposed? I'm staying.
That was a yes.
Three.
That's not those.
Why would you abstain?
Because I like the idea of the program, but everybody that I've talked to in this end of the county has a lot of questions about what happens if it fails, who gets sick. Or the,
Put in the contract, it's never comes back to the county,
Do that.
there you go.
Revote. With that,
Guys, I'm not in favor of loaning money. That's the reason why I talked to you about this. I don't think we're in that business. Also, Attica, I just kind of wondered, Tim said this month's been dumped in our lap, which it has. What would you have done? I'm gonna talk about the opportunity now. What would you have been doing on this project if this didn't come around to you? If this wasn't available? You know, can you tell me that?
Yeah, we probably wouldn't do it any project. So the money that's coming from the market is Attica ARPA funds. Right? The money that we're asking for from the county is county funds. And then we have some additional things that we're looking at that were all instigated by ARPA. You know, it's this magic moment, you know, good or bad or otherwise, where there's money flowing through various entities. And so we're using that to create this small business incubator, which we believe the county can really use. So that's the answer. I mean, we just are taking advantage of the moment to do something really good for the people of Fountain County.
I was in a meeting back when that everybody, how much money does Attica Housing contribute to the town?
For ARPA,
Yeah, no, just how much money does Attica have in this project? Without knowing.
yeah, I hate to say this publicly because I don't think anybody's mad at it, but if you look at what they're putting in, for instance, and this is everything from seeded dollars to food and beverage tax, to tip district and what have you. They're gonna end up spending probably $2.5 million total.
You know,
$2.5 million total over the length of the project. They've already spent a tremendous amount to tear down buildings. They're gonna spend more to tear down buildings. They're spending, what is it, 1.2, 1.3, associated with rebuilding the streets and parking lots and sidewalks around. So if you look at the whole master plan for downtown and the money they've given us through our contract to buy the building and create the market and so forth, you're close to $2.5 million.
How much have they given just currently? I know that they gave you part of their ARPA money, correct?
They're in the process.
Around two to 300.
368 is the market dollar from the market. That's a condition of that money. They're also giving the land. And they're tearing right now tonight, they're in a meeting. Board of Works meeting, to review proposals to tear down the Evans and Pickett. So they spend all the money to buy the building. They're going to spend all the money to tear it down. And then as a part of the master plan implementation for the blocks surrounding the market, that's what they just recently discussed spending. And that remakes Perry Mill and provides a public parking lot of 45 stalls. So their commitment is enormous for a town of that size, city of that size. And Bakersfield is fantastic to show how we could make this happen. But if you look at the overall commitment to downtown, including the rest of that street, it's probably 2.5 million.
I know.
I think interesting.
No, that's okay, I'm just gonna try to come, sorry.
I'd like to address Tom's question and go ahead, if it's okay with you.
okay,
Tom, your question was, what would we do if we didn't get this county funding? We'd probably build this damn thing in about 4 or 5 years. But we don't know where the money, we'll have to work our butts off. That's what we would do. That link to your statement that you have a lot of Southern County residents against this or concerned. Man, I hate to hear that. I hate to hear that they don't want Attica to be a part of this county. I hate to hear from a section of the county that has a courthouse and is getting a 911 call center, that they sure hate to see something go in Attica because it may fail. That's terribly disappointing. Terrible.
I have people, Kevin.
How about
saying-
maybe Attica people could start saying things like, well, let's not put that 911 call center in Covington, because it may go bad down in Covington, pick a reason. Just
The city of Attica kicked us out of their building, so that's why we had to move 911. The radio station is in Attica City building. So, but here's the thing, people in Covington are saying, if we're gonna give that kind of money to Attica, then why aren't you funding $450,000 for the walkway along the river? So we can bring in people to spend money in Covington. I got the Historical Society people calling me and saying, okay, we've got a covered bridge that needs $300,000 put into it. Why don't you use our money for that? And if commissioners want to approve those two things, then I might change my vote, but we got to help everybody in the county. And we just got notified from the state that they're cutting $500,000 next year to our road fund. So we've got to come up with $500,000 to take care of the roads in the county. So where do we cut into our money from that?
And I would answer that with one statement. What other better economic development project do you have for Fountain County than what we're proposing? Okay, ARPA money, correct me if I'm wrong, is for infrastructure and economic development. What other economic development program? What are you doing to make this county better? Obviously, we need infrastructure. Obviously, we do. The project in Hillsborough are great. A gift from the federal government. We can't take a small section of it and try and improve this county. Come on.
I haven't heard anything about Attica. Friend has me, so I don't know.
I think there's.
Forgive me, I get very passionate about this and I don't want to offend anyone, but
I understand that, you know, I gotta listen to everybody in the county. Yeah.
Have you listened to Attica people?
That's-
You got positive things too.
Right, and I'm okay with helping Attica, but we gotta help all the towns. Yes. And help rural.
So the way
You know,
to.
it's gonna need $1 million, it's short $1 million for the sewer project. But our mayor says, I'm not gonna ask because I know everybody's asking for your money. So the taxpayers in Covington are gonna have to fork out. the $1 million.
That's
We're paying for ours.
Right,
Attica, we very have all paid for them, because they have the base to.
Yes.
When you're talking
Came
about
to
the
build, well,
Freddie Grant,
right, big money health program.
a place called, it's $1 million for each one of these counties for us to do, so if we need to give additional help, you know, to them, if they can't get some other funding to finish their project. I mean, you're right, we don't have an economic development person, there is no vision for any kind of growth anywhere, and I think we need to do it a little bit at a time. And this happens to be the project that is main stage right now, and I really think we need to consider it.
Yeah, I think, I was just gonna say that, the way you do it that way is you do one and get it off the ground, and then we move to Covington next. You know, we move to Petersburg next, I mean, there's no reason why, we would ever concentrate just on Attica. This is something that is a catalyst for everything that comes. And I think that's the answer to those folks that are really concerned about Covington.
Attica's 12 miles away, you can drive to Attica and 10 classes. It's still good.
Right.
People from Pelham, live, work in Indianapolis, Lafayette, drive it every.
Well, it sounds like to me that they're reaching out to whether it's just Attica School, Mount Central School, or Peckham School, you know, we have a new superintendent, you know, that has a different thought process on things that what we've had in the past. And I think there's going to be, there'll be some growth in different areas, you know, your vocational, whatever, so.
The other thing we're willing to do, and we talked about this before, if you support us, we'll reorganize the board. Right now, it's all out. That's how we started. But we'll reorganize the board so that we're representing all these communities. With this completely fair.
We
$20.
We actually, talked to you guys about helping the entire county, absolutely, in the near future.
That's the point I want to know about the near future. Why not Petersburg? I don't see why in the world all these little communities would be standing sitting right here in this seat, that, hey, where's my part?
Yeah.
So you understand where I'm coming from?
I do understand.
I voted no because of that. I voted no because I don't want to loan money to a city. I don't want to do that. I want to make it, if I'm gonna vote for this, I'd like to make sure I'm gonna support it.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what I,
Well, so let me address that. This is a nonprofit. We are being funded initially by the city because they wanted it, right? So they're stepping up and they're doing it. But we won't be supported by the city at the end of next year, essentially. We're up and running. That's why the market needs to happen. The reason for Attica, even if you didn't have the support of the city, the reason for Attica is because they have 130,000 visitors every year. They have traffic that no other town has in this county. And we can use that to grow businesses and to grow expertise. And so that's really the reason. I wouldn't, to be quite honest, I would never do this work.
I've done things no one else is willing to do in this county. I have people. Well, Petersburg, Hillsborough. $5, that's one thing.
and
And I don't. When I do Facebook, none of my friends with Attica Leadership. This goes out to Attica Leadership. This is trickled with Southern. Right.
and that's,
Right. So there's one more part of people. There's no reason why we can't work with Petersburg. This is just a.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Colleen has something to say.
I think the reason why town of Petersburg hasn't asked for any money is they have a TIF district that went in several years ago. It got grandfathered in. Your TIF districts today are 25 years. They've been grandfathered in and they continue on and on and on and have a bunch of money in an account.
You know, I understand that, Colleen. The fact is, the money's there. If it's laying on the table, whether they got tipped, whatever, they said, hey, I also use some of that money to get it done. Cayman used it for Cayman, Attica once, I lived there 3 years. Also, you said a while ago, Attica always helped themselves. They didn't come to the county and ask for money. Correct?
Yeah.
And so all I'm saying is tip money, the county can use it as well. And some of our projects as well, without touching tax money.
So Atticus not asking, I do want to correct that, Atticus is not asking. It's Mika, it's the non.
I know, Brian, I didn't mean that. She's made a comment a while ago about Attica never ever came. I understand that. I wasn't saying anything just Attica. I was just saying that you said that, and I heard that before. The Attica, they seem to do something.
I guess when I did my vote, I was of the understanding that it would be a.
I guess I don't understand what you're saying, Mr. Brew. I'm not following you.
Okay, maybe I dismissed, heard you or whatever, but I thought you said,
I didn't say that.
That was in response.
I thought it was just in the conversation.
I think that was in response to the.
It wasn't going to make any difference in my vote. Whatever you said, you know what I mean? And what I said about other communities with our money, I mean, I don't want to understand that the who's money. Regardless of the tip. Attica got a tip. County just try to get one.
Have one in, for the Fountain Springs.
Is it Fountain Springs?
Yes, but not the rest of
want
the
to do
school hasn't
residential.
included yet.
They want to do residential tip. And they just can't get the school
In
board.
fact, it's for-
Kelly, you have something.
Yeah, I guess I understood that in my voting is that it was a $500,000 grant. With a possibility of a loan if it was done legally. Correct?
Okay, so
So if it can't be done legally, then the 250 is off the table from us. Is that correct?
the ways that.
That's right.
I said I was under the understanding when I voted that it would be a $500,000 grant and a 250 loan if it was legal to do it. If it was not legal,
From our,
then it was off the table.
yes.
Is everybody understanding that the same? Okay.
So at the moment, we have a 3-3 vote, one thing to say. With the 3 that voted no, is there any combination that satisfies you guys that would turn that vote to a yes? Is switching that 500, 250 to scrapping 250, just making a $500,000 grant help turn that vote from a no to a yes? I think really today we could sit here and we could talk for the next 4 hours and discuss the benefits, but they really need a diehard true answer tonight. We've been over this for months. But is there anything in the 3 or 4 to bring Dudley back on board that will switch those votes to a yes? Take away 250, change the amounts, make it all grant, make it a loan, whatever you guys think. Is there anything to switch to the 3 or 4?
The students interest me more than anything. And the state says they have an interest. That interest, I like that. That because there's money coming in. The other thing that, I don't think, I knew, you told me how you're gonna make money. I see all these lists of people. You're just not there yet. Only thing you need is money. And you're saying that $500,000 now is gonna help you. Is that what you're saying? In a grant.
That's gonna be the total amount, where you put the ceiling on it at 500,000.
I think if you guys put a ceiling on funding, that amount, they would be appreciative of anything at this point. The 750, I think, is a projected goal to build out the inside. I think you can make a contingent that if you did a $500,000 grant, that project has to go. It can't be allocated in different form. It has to be fit with that builder, however you guys put contingencies on it. But hopefully they can come up with another 250 to make that project go. If that's the realm you want to go. But yes, I think that could be a cap and not do the loan if you guys chose to do it that way.
And then also, Rod, you said that if we were to do that, you would change the wording within this contract, within this information, but it make it a little bit more palatable for us who voted no, to say yes. And so, you know, I would like to see you go. I want to see you make money. I want to see the county involved. I want to see how soon we're going to involve Petersburg and anybody else who wants to take part in this. I'll see what kind of a timetable are we on? Okay, you see what I'm saying? If you were from another part of the county other than Attica, and you say, okay, they're gonna get money, they're gonna get help, support, then when can we get some support? That's what some of the guys here that probably voted no for. Even though Jim was from Hillsborough, I'm being for, all I'm saying is, how soon can we think about, you turn that wording around, can we get the word out? Hey, we're gonna help you as well. As soon as we get some information out there about where we can help these other little areas, we can get people in the Leesburg, into Hillsborough and so on, and show that through this incubator, we are making headway. This is a success. It's going to make money. So that's for me.
So actually, Tom, you could be very helpful that way, because once we're up and running, we want Petersburg and the others plugged into it, completely plugged into it. So the goal is, once they've gone for training and we have the support and they've access to co-working support, that we will help them find a spot in Petersburg. We have no intention of a successful business staying in Attica if they're from Petersburg. So our goal is, the market specifically, if someone starts up a little restaurant or something in the market and they're doing a great job and they hit a threshold, and we'll have threshold. When we hit a threshold, we're going to help them find another spot in their hometown. Because the idea is we're constantly rolling through new startups. The whole thing is a startup. So nobody gets to just get in there and stay there. Not a chance. And so we are really helping you build back your downtown. We're helping you as much as anybody can.
So we can certainly use it.
Yeah.
Okay, here's how I can switch my vote. Okay. Is that top it at 500,000. The week board consists of people in the whole county.
Yep.
And that it's stipulated that if some reason down the road this failed, the building sells, the county receives their money that they receive. I would support it if all those stipulations.
Purchase building through our budget. So as a way to word that would be, if the building sold for 400,000, we each get equal shares as well. Like, Fountain County wouldn't take the whole 400,000.
Yeah, the concern is we're just
Have that thing.
So a percent, whatever, as long as we see in writing what all the expenses are and whatever our percentage that's put into it. If the building sells, we get that percentage.
So they provide a financial. I would be okay with that. The other thing that's concerned me from the start is, I mean, we all would love to have more people. So our county board, we're trying to get more board members.
And Attica can keep the majority, I mean, that's, it's in your area.
You know, we would love to take this to be a Fountain County economic development.
Well, that's
Well,
what
let me
we're
address
on.
that.
We're working on that.
The key is,
We'll work on that.
what is the mechanism on how you put those people on?
Yeah.
Well, so one of the things we talked about, I think I talked about it as well. Right now, we're the only economic development nonprofit, right? and it was Attica specific, but it doesn't have. And what we do for Attica is we provide, leadership and guidance. The council still makes the decision, right? We really don't do anything without their blessing. And so we would do the same for the county, really. We would serve as the county's arm, in leadership and processing, economic development, but you still have. What's that? But the way we would do that, most likely, is we would have, some recommended, appointees to the board that decide officially and elected. So, I think that's what Jim would be really.
Maybe it's not.
No, we didn't get it. Yeah. We're under contract.
So if we can enter into it.
So we're good with that.
Okay, I'll make that. motion. Okay.
To do the terms as stated.
Yeah. Okay, so just to be.
Restate it.
Okay, here's how I got it, capped at 500,000. The board members contain countywide members. And if it shall fail, the county will recover funds.
A percent.
Based on-
This way, we're helping Attica, we're helping Kingman, we're helping Hillsborough, and if we still have money to help some other counties.
We'll have to think about mechanism on how we get other board members.
Right, yeah, and I'm just saying maybe one from. I don't know.
You do one
One
for the.
yeah, one from Bangor Township, one from Troy Township. Maybe one from Hillsborough Canyon. Yeah.
Right. 13 members.
Yeah. How many something we can board, man?
I'd like to see it, I don't know.
I could think about it.
I'd like to see it leave, some of that. Leave.
Nobody in
I mean, you know, start. with a couple of-
No, you want to not. But, okay, so we have.
Didn't help.
So, we got, Jen made the motion,
I will second.
okay, so now all those in favor of that.
If you reword and put a sentence, any place else that's not about money, I'm with you. Okay, got it, I vote.
So we have 7 of them. Okay.
Pretty good contract, you're not gonna fail.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
we did not BS you one moment tonight, so,
No, I know, we've had a lot of conversations, but, I think. Everyone who is objected to me, I can go to them and I won't feel bad at all explaining the situation, and I think they'll understand.
I think that's.
You want to do that.
Yes, that's right.
But I like the fact that schools need to get involved, because when I subbed, I always told seniors, college is for everyone.
Yeah.
But you need a trade. You know, the military is always a good option, college is always a good option, and even going to the workforce, and this allows students to leave high school and actually go into the workforce with. Yeah.
Well, I greatly appreciate your support and we will answer down.
Okay. And I hope you'll work with the students at Fountain Central and everything else.
We'd love
And,
Fountain Central.
The only reason it's not happening this year is they just won the award and they started school, so it's completely overwhelming. So they're just.
That's a big plus for you, Rod, on the students. The only way you're carrying it. We get that education.
It's gonna.
yeah.
Don't forget. Hallelujah.
I feel like that, I'm so glad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey. You guys can sleep good tonight.
I didn't mean to by that whole minute. I don't know. Let's do the transfer, sorry. Okay, transfer.
A couple
Okay.
requests on your agenda for Monday.
So we'll do both.
Transfer request or you want for Monday?
Yes, it's so mainly for the commissioners. I'll put it on for you on Monday.
For Monday, okay.
So, computer assessment, $4,000 for website travel. We can do all these together. We can, okay, 911, $2,411 part-time social security. Can I get one from?
Wait a minute,
One minute.
I forgot to make a correction. It's actually 5,500 on the part-time social security. This is what we were in the red. And
5,500.
yes, sorry.
Okay.
I forgot to write it down.
So,
I'll make a motion. I'll try that.
You're doing-
I'm gonna vote them together.
I'll take
Favor,
it.
second, all in favor? Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Let's move
Okay,
on.
now wait a minute, so what we voted on, have the commissioners voted on?
We
Or
just said
our-
up to 750, so I guess we can,
Okay.
We can resort no contingent on the council for 500 in the contingency.
I think that's what we've had.
Because I-
Up to 750.
Yeah, we have an extra 750, so it should be covered. We can make one.
Okay.
I'll make a new motion to accept the council's recommendation of $500,000 grant from ARPA funds with their contingencies in WEGA, for the city of Attica project.
All those in favor? Okay.
What, all the same?
All that you're saying.
That we did.
Yeah.
Yes.
We just made it contingent. of-
Okay.
Yes.
Now, on the health department.
Yep.
Okay. Andrew, you have something you want to bring up? I will bring up, I know there was an email going around regarding the $12,000 software. And I feel like it's the best decision for all Warren County, same way that we take the data for both the counties. Each county start out with that and then just add their own to that. We'll split that 50-50.
The 20,000.
The 12,000 out of the fund that is 50-50, and that's local health maintenance. I think it's a 50.
I thought that it was 12,000 originally what they paid, but the new was 20,000. Yeah.
Okay, it's 20,000, yeah, close to 20,000 to separate, so we can take it out of the funds, local health maintenance 50-50, but then it was mentioned they were wanting to, I guess that was the file cabinets for the.
Is that the one though that was splitting 50-50, or is that the fund that it's 1/3, 2/3?
So.
Local health maintenance is 50.
50, okay, that's the one you're gonna take 20,000 out of, so
Yes.
that's 10,000 goes into Warren County.
Brendan, do you want to make a quick note on those funds, what you found out, which funds
are allocated which way from the state?
Okay,
We got a letter.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
we got-
okay.
Yeah, we got.
Okay, so I blew it up, really
Yeah.
big, so when it's all said and done, whatever, I just wanna make sure, and I've talked to Colleen multiple times, I wanna make sure whatever they're spending now out of local health maintenance, that they're not buying one thing and then they're taking it to one county. I wanna make sure that whatever they're buying, if they're buying two of something, we keep one, they get one. So we need to be mindful of these funds, the local, the trust fund, that's 1/3, 2/3. So at the end of the day, whatever balance, we'll be giving them 1/3. Now, the other funds, these other grants, 1/3, 2/3.
What other grants?
They got,
the COVID grants.
they got about $500,000 worth of different grants.
So only the local health maintenance is 50/50.
Yes.
Okay. Everything else is only 1/13.
What's that extra grant for? And is that COVID stuff that is that city band or something?
I mean, if you look at your financial report back,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The back page is.
the back page is grants. It needs to reflect our grants. Okay. So you got the code that
At
vaccine.
the end of the year, then.
So I reached out to Sharon Nichols' office, their first research, you know, give out the money at the end of the day, so I'm sure that will probably.
I mean, if you walk into the number. Now, we're not spending that much of it, I mean.
I didn't submit the paperwork on there, so I really don't know. It is helping with some salaries.
And we have our vet grant, and one of the nurses is supposed to go to the schools.
And have they talks and grants?
Some of them I have, some of them they surprised.
I know when I remember that, we didn't know where it was coming, where it was going, you remember all the votes.
With the CARES Act, it was a very fast pace, and then they started spending out of the local health maintenance to the trust grant, and that shouldn't have been done, but there was no problems whatsoever. So, we tried to fix that in 2021, and we got there finally. And I,
You put back like it needs to be. I mean.
yes, I think,
In the last 2 weeks, I've worked with the grant people of the state
Yeah.
on the COVID response grant, because they couldn't get any information from our health department. I think the grant person kind of honked them off. So they came to us, the auditor, and I went through and worked with him. At first, he was very, but when I started answering his questions and showing things, he softened up, so I think, I haven't heard from him for a week, so fingers crossed.
So we're good now, but you're gonna move forward, you still want to find out what we spend.
Right.
So, I mean, so we can spend it, make use of it, that's gonna be the labor.
From what I get from State Board of Accounts, it's for the same purpose, it's just gonna be 1/3, 2/3, and they reiterated, I don't know how many times, you gotta take care of your citizens, you gotta take care of your citizens. They really can't offer us guidance because it's
Never been done.
unprecedented, yes.
so we're trying to do as clean as possible, so there's a lot of it's 1/3, 2/3, we felt like that's what these funds, how they should be. I mean, we've reached out to people from the state health, so that we're learning as we go along, but what we can use those funds for, I know Colleen has reached out to multiple departments, on it.
But don't they have to, like you're gonna take that 20,000 out of, local health maintenance, don't they have to apply to them to be able to get that money released?
Applications have been sent to the counties, because my concern was that someone wasn't filling out the application, so I have been following up, I think Colleen has, to make sure that those grants are apply for, because I want to be included on the emails, and I said, if you don't want me, then include the auditor. I want to make sure that we're getting this grant.
That refrigerator, has that been?
So,
Just two.
We kind of put that one on hold a little bit.
so that was the point that I was gonna bring up. My biggest concern is at some point, somebody from us are gonna have to sit down, because at the moment, the person that's controlling the inventory isn't gonna be working for Fountain County. So that inventory isn't in the best interest of Fountain County at the moment. We're gonna have to get a full inventory sheet and kind of go through and be sure that it's allocated the way that it should be. Rather, and I don't know how we start to go back and see how they were paid for, how we allocate 50/50, 2/3, 1/3, but we need to kind of keep track of that sooner than later. So, come
That's gonna
November,
put
December.
do more work on Colleen, so I said I would be glad to help her, with that process, and Andrew,
Yeah.
Tim has, offered to help too. We want to make sure that what is ours, and then, I don't want to cheat them, I don't want to cheat.
No, like dosages of flu shots and all that, it should be 2/3. of our
Exactly.
time, 1/3
And
of
so, like I said, we can get a list of what our inventory is, and so the refrigeration thing, it kind of set me off, because I understand the funds, and I'm like, well, what do we take for the other one out of it? Because it was through a grant. So if it was through a grant, I don't want to use local health maintenance grant,
So maybe.
to get
use
another
that.
one. So if you use one of those, what was the grant we talked about?
Vaccine in.
It might have been vaccine.
It was a
Yes, so we wanted to-
COVID testing grant. Those got quite a bit.
That's why I can't use how the vaccine grant.
Yes.
Buy the refrigerator.
But we want to,
Yes.
so we can use it on, I want to off, and then we're gonna do that. So discuss it on the next slide. I don't have a problem with using the vaccine, and then when the money's done, we would teach the others, they would get a phone. Okay. Okay, I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Well, how far down the list are you gonna go? I mean, you gonna count pencils?
Well, so I mean, at some point, you're gonna have to say, I think the big ticket items, if we're ready to go.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah, right, and the equipment, refrigerator. Yeah.
Drug stuff.
Yeah, so there is a vehicle. Running the truck, that's the thing.
We have a license. I mean, like,
The line are out.
is there a license on the refrigerator door?
So I will, the nurse that's working at Warren County now, that's going to Warren County. She reached out today on a couple of scenarios of splitting, and she said she would be willing, but we don't have anybody, we haven't advertised yet for that position, but whenever we get somebody on board, she'd be willing to train and help allocate it and help run through where they are, with the very nice, there was a program to specify the state county estimate, and she's gonna help whoever. That's, we're back.
So since you bring that up, there's probably not money allocated to pay such a person, correct?
Well, indirectly, yes, because we have a nurse that was quit, so we're down to one nurse, we do have some spare funds at the moment. That we need to think about, we lost, as of September 1st, I believe,
Okay.
we lost the nurse, so.
That answers it.
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Ours and most rest.
So if we can go ahead and hire someone to help out, and then, it could be an easier transition.
That's fine.
Over here, that's, yeah.
I'm gonna hear about it.
Okay.
Just have somebody on board now, they're able to pass now.
It would be great for them to work side by side.
Yes, and they're training, someone.
Well, I know, but it'll be fine.
Well, you had the person leave September 1st, you got them.
Yeah.
Now you go, second, go ahead, or whoever the board can,
Now,
do that.
the
She's out there for
salary,
their board.
Yeah, so that's big.
I ain't gonna have.
How do you?
We could solve it, I don't know, that's why we're in our board, we talked about that kind of before, that we can have to hire people for the annual thing. Oh, that's a can't question.
We've already got the board.
No, I know, but could our board hire somebody? That's, yeah.
That's still a
I
scam
don't-
question, I think.
I don't think if we brought somebody to that board and said, hey, this is what we're doing. You know,
Truly,
I'm
they're
gonna say, all in all, they're gonna be an RN, you're gonna have a great medical doctor. They just gotta have to start January 1 and figure it out for Fountain County, so they know how to give shots, you
I
know.
mean, I don't have a problem going to the board, the health board.
I don't think-
You know,
And to works, hires that,
they works in the year, yes.
side by
Surely
side.
they would approve.
I'm sure.
Because they reached out, Marcus reached out. and
Well,
They want to smooth.
they surely need somebody, why would they fire that position in the first place?
Well, a lot of that was grant dictated too from the educator, the health educator and all that stuff, but yeah.
If they want their own person.
Yeah, and they have their own person that's already there.
But if they want somebody to fill in September,
Yeah.
then no one's gonna go to work there, no one,
No.
December 31st, they're out of the job,
Correct.
so they should surely hire.
Right.
Okay, so we could kind of work on that.
Well, the girl, the lady, we're gonna advertise this, yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're working on we need to work on getting an advertisement for the clerk registrar.
Nurse, I think.
And a nurse,
Oh,
but I think we need to talk to the council about, the environment, the combined position, because, you know, we are doing away with a position. The health educator, and assistant nurse, we're doing away with that in the first year. But the grant coordinator, we were wanting to combine that with one of the environmentalists and then administrator with one of the environmentalists, whatever you want to name them. I mean, right now, they're currently environmentalists. But I need to know what the council is willing to contribute as administrator. Because they'll have dual roles. I have people that have dual roles, maybe 3 roles.
Except they won't have as much to do, I mean, they're gonna have less, because they won't have Warren County to be doing. But I think we put in approximately 10%. Now what we talked about, 10% for them.
So, you
Uh,
know, so just,
Yeah, I want to check, the state of this mayor's fault. They'll have just as much to do because 90% of that health department is about services. Yeah, they got no, they got no service going in. It's all, majority of over here about that. Now, nursing. Well, that's big difference. When it comes to environmental. I will say, we have kept environmentalists busy a lot on properties around the county that needed attention. That they've been this, continue to do this. There was a thing on our agenda today that we didn't.
I got a question. I know where I'm going. I don't have to look. Why?
We had absolutely nor would we have ever, as county executive, any say on that board. COVID brought it out so clearly. That board was 100% ran by Warren County. We 100% do all the work. Fountain County does all the administration, paperwork, all the health benefits. What people don't understand, you always dig deep. If I'm an environmentalist and I have cancer. Okay, Warren County will help pay our laser fee or whatever, I mean, they'll help in the system, but that does nothing with our rates going up the next year if we have somebody with cancer. I mean, just little things like that. We're better off with our own board from 100% from Fountain County. And a doctor with views more of the majority of Fountain County, which we have. We have a good doctor, Dan Hessler, don't know whether you've ever met him, he's an anesthesiologist, lived in Walton in early 40s, very good guy. He matches up, I think he matches up a lot better with us than the current doctor that we have as far as values and beliefs. So as far as just the pandemic, the schools, the whatever, He will listen to the proper medical advice, and he's not gonna take it over the head. We were thrown under the bus 3 or 4 times for no reason, Indianapolis news, everything else, because we were not forcing people to wear masks at voting. They had constitutional rights. We couldn't force anybody to do anything. We stayed silent as a commission. But yet we were still thrown, we didn't, say anything negative about him or anything, or what he was doing. 3, 4 different times, we were literally thrown in under the bus and backed over. So I was done
This
this.
is primarily about Dr. Strong.
Yes, well, staying on board, we had no, once they got on that board over there, they were 100%.
Why didn't we have this? Why didn't we understand on the board? I don't understand.
We put people on there, but they've been on there so long, they're 100%. Under his control.
We can't seem to get them off.
Every
We
time-
can't get them off the board.
Well, they have rotations and things, but every time we put one in. I mean, I hate for you to bring you in over it. But there's a man in the room that knows all about it.
I'm gonna throw my hand in there, let me tell you. The reason this thing is split up for one reason, Dr. Sharp and the board. The reason is, Dr. Sharp runs the board. That's not the way it's supposed to be.
No,
The board is supposed to run the health office.
I forgot about that.
The board is supposed to run the health office. But when we first started the pandemic, we had a meeting downstairs, and we met with the president of the board and said, this isn't going right, we need to do this. She left, the next thing I hear is, no, Dr. Sean doesn't want to do that, and we're not doing anything. And that's shutting down from that point on. You guys, none of you had anything to say about it. The board has control over it, but the board was doing.
We went to meetings and we specifically asked him, the COVID thing got out of hand, and he was throwing us under the bus. We asked the board. And the Warren County Commissioners were in agreement too. That we would like a separate administrator facing other than you. No, that wasn't gonna happen. Okay,
It got to be a fight, a battle between a lot of people.
Yeah, see, I'm not just looking at the taxpayers.
And what it really amounted to was, if you go back all the time, the health department,
Yeah, I used to have that issue, so.
you used to have a health officer, you used to have an administrator, and then you have the rest of us down below. That was there. When the administrator passed away, that current health officer was going to appoint a new administrator. Then he passed away. Dr. Sharma did. I was going to do that administrator. I went to Dr. Sharma and explained to him what's going on. He said, no, I'm going to handle everything going good. And that's the way it went from that point on.
No one ever challenged them on that.
Nobody ever challenged him on it.
Isn't health board when they moved down, not health board, but health department, they moved down to the.
it'll probably be a year, we'll probably spend another year and a half, plus we're under contract. And everything. So. It'll probably be at least 2024 before it be done, January.
And yes, it's really, you guys are really not a mess right now, understand. But you're getting past it. And if we get the time, work it out and get it done. I think it's a real good idea, that these guys are talking to the board, trying to get an RN, and it's gonna stay in one county. To start working with these places without having, working together and separate. The Fountain County Health Department is going to be quite busy. We're gonna do that. That's the majority of the time. Over here, you know, it's gonna be there.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
I'm for the meeting, that's all I'm for. I'm sorry, you guys gotta go through.
So that being said about the administrative, I mean, I don't know what dollar. We haven't talked to this individual as far as how much. Because a grant for a administrator could be 30,000 plus, and I don't think we're gonna be paying that, but right now. Environmentalists are making about 43,000.
Does he have somewhere, where
Yeah.
Okay, So maybe you can help us with that, you know, I was. The grant coordinator, instead of paying 20-some thousand, if we could do 5,000. I don't know, I'm just throwing out a number that maybe this individual would be fine with. And it's gonna be a learning curve the first year as far as their dues. Their duties.
You want me to tell you what I got?
Yeah,
I got.
What fund are you looking at?
Yeah.
well, we're using all, I mean, we took the 1/2 of the one grant, because we know,
Local health maintenance.
yes. I mean, we divided.
I just have to
Yeah,
request
we did
it.
That's what I. Remember what they used.
It's right here.
Okay. So we were looking at. The health officer at 25,000, and this is not set, this is just, I sat with each. When we went through all suggestions, I sat with the next one, we conferred on things, and so we have a list of what. Our recommendations, that next week we will look over things again, make any changes, and then we're not gonna vote on it until October.
If you would, before you say that, just because I don't have it, in front of me, would you say what was requested and what was proposed at the moment? Is that doable?
Well, yes, but I mean, the requested was the way it.
Oh, the way it's stood, okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, Dr. Sharma's getting around 35,000. We changed it to 25,000. Clerk register, the 35,562.
It's based on.
10%.
Like the.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah, we're looking at about 10% increase for the deputies.
Okay.
The nurse, 51,890 now to 56,041. Okay, we did away with the health edge. Okay, environmentalist is paid out of.
59.
And it's paid out of local health maintenance, paid out of, the trust. And part of, out of the, PHEP base grant, so. I don't remember, oh, total,
Oh, the grant coordinator.
That grant.
so, yeah.
Because right now.
What were they paid right now, 40 or 30?
I have 41,300. 41,000.
That's what they're paid now,
350,
and then
yes.
what we do, 45 or.
I think it was like 45 or something like that.
I think, let's see. One's. We're paid out 3 different things, so.
That would be additional responsibility from the.
That was just.
That should be the fire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so they both will be at 45.5.
somewhere in there, yeah.
And you've had two of them there.
Yes, yeah, those, yeah.
So our thought was to make one of them environmentalist / administrator and the other one environmentalist / coordinator. We do need to meet with them.
Hang on, though. What other positions did they have?
That's, we had 6 right now, and we went to 5.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I can do.
We kept, yeah, we kept the 5 that.
So I don't know if the administrator and the grant coordinator can be put out as a different fund. If you're looking into that, I'm just bringing the
So what was our, the clerk register, what was the,
35,562, isn't it?
what was the existing? What's that?
32,360.
And that's combined with the two we're getting paid.
No. No, the clerk registrar is just one position.
But the 32 was the projected for Fountain Warren.
That's what, yes.
Got it.
Right now, this is what is adopted.
That's what I was asking. On behalf of both counties,
That per- And they've always been paid the same as all the deputies in the courthouse.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, and we're looking at the same for all the deputies in the courthouse. We know we gotta raise salaries to keep people, we don't want to look at other counties. Now, the sheriff's department is gonna get it even bigger than because we don't wanna lose
Correct.
deputies and they've been down, but, I think about 8% was the lowest we did like the janitor 8%, couple of them. And the veterans officer, his, because he could make more Donald than what he's getting here, so.
He's very good.
Yeah.
So this is for the grant. The grant. They're.
No, there is no grant right now. The bigger stages,
That's
sheriff,
county.
that's just straight. Because, so if we want to look at the grant coordinator and
So-
administrator,
There was 2 positions they were at, and one of them was a clerk note star. The second was grant coordinator. We were kind of iffy if that was needed or not, but they were adamant that that was an essential role, which would be grant funded
right?
in that.
But it wouldn't
position.
take 100% of their time.
Right, so you were talking about doing that, and we can look at it, you sit down with the 2 environmentalists and see. With added duties, what they would expect, and then you come back to us.
And I think we know for sure with the grant coordinator, it's not gonna be that time consuming, and so we could slash that 20-some thousand back considerably, but the administrator, we really didn't know what to offer.
How much is our grant coordinator grant? We know how much that's for.
25,000, we have already, yes.
So I am strictly talking out loud for discussion purposes only. Make that very clear. If we combine that role with. If we were to combine that role with one environmentalist and. Drop. That salary by a portion of that number, just say 20,000. And take it to 25,500 plus a grant fee. Of 25, or whatever portion that could be, maybe drop 10 and then get an extra 10. Can we take that added salary, the reduced salary and add it to the other position, to make them administrator? One be the grant writer, one be the administrator, have dual roles, but if I made one 55, oh, I'm sorry. If we drop the salary to 35,500 and added a $20,000 grant, we're taking the 55, and I'm just talking out loud, 55,500. Take this $10,000 we drop and add it here, they're both back to 55,500.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, they both need to be paid. the
With
same amount.
0 more money out of county pocket. It's just allocating funds.
Let me throw something else that we talked about too, is a lot of counties have a grant writer,
All right, amen.
and, maybe we need to look at that,
I'm okay with that.
and. But maybe they should be here at the courthouse, maybe even in the auditor's office, and they can work on grants. And that part too, take care of the grants, they can help Colleen with the grants. And they can go after, I mean, I look at Warren County, they've got their own grant writer and. Typically County, and I
And I
don't,
just feel like we're behind the 8 ball, because there's just some things out there.
we're not going after.
Yeah, that's what's going on. Stuff together.
The grant's gone, we need somebody that just spends time working on grants.
I feel Chuck Lowe did a drive some of these school buses on activities, and she's one kind of recycling, and does she write some of those grants herself?
Yeah.
I mean, she has.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sharon
okay.
Anderson,
Okay.
not Anderson, it's,
I just-
that's like that, yeah. She, she's on the county council, and she writes
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just know they have people on staff that was like doing that, and we don't have any.
She's also Civic Community Parent, right? Yeah, Sharon does. Civic Community. Yeah,
Does she do?
And
She's on one
County.
thing, it's council.
she's on one.
Tim is going over some things. I thought that too. Maybe you can consider, and like I said, if you don't pay for it all out of local health maintenance and health, there's another fund that we can contribute for them for their salaries. We'll give those figures.
So if they're making 42 now, and you're giving raise, $3,000 raise, to 45. I would think another 5,000 feet, especially just for years and what they're, how much it has been, if they can do it. I think 50 would be better than 55.
So the difference,
Wait, well, yeah,
like,
So-
if it was 50,000 for
50,000
each
each
one,
the first year.
and then split duties, and then we can,
and that would combine all the roles into one. That would, one would be,
Grant writer, grant writer, environmentalist, and then
that would give us a year to kind of determine on the grant writer.
advice and time.
It would give us an allocation of funds to go ahead and get that grant and look at it. Implement it.
Are either one of them familiar with
and
grant writing?
yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Because I know when I was out there, I worked with,
Well-
you know, on Eric said, he's done that, you know, he's slow to learn.
With guidance of each of them together, they'll be able to.
I think they work very well together. They communicate with us, you know, very well. The youth health officer is in communication with them right now. And Dr. Sean, just trying to make the transition.
And they're really great team players.
They are very good.
No,
So,
no, that's not-
people are wanting to stay down, so like I said, we have to find a nurse and work registered. So we have had, few nurses have expressed some interest, and we have not interviewed. You know, we were gonna advertise, you know, for these positions, but
Flexible.
the nurse.
There could be some funding available.
Yeah, so the nurse, it was brought to our attention, do you need a full-time nurse? Do you want to make it so many days a week so that if they want to work at the hospital or something, they can make, you know.
Where you could drop the salary slightly, make it flexible, where they have like either a Friday or Monday off, if they can work the weekend, the hospital, like PRN, to make up the lost revenue, whatever they would make in the hospital.
We just-
It would just be a discussion.
Well, doesn't that 45.5, that does not include benefits, correct?
Right,
So the nurse at 56,
right.
Right,
yeah,
But
But
you
then
need
Sean-
to talk to
yeah.
yeah.
potential and then see what they're willing to do, and we can address those.
So we had an individual that was really interested, and she just like this week, working from home with all. Same thing.
Yeah, everybody leaving the hospital.
Well, same thing we talked about the health part, so she's doing. working from
They
home,
make
making
more money.
$20,000 more.
So, you know, you're gonna have to.
Some of the things that you entertain, you know, that's.
Yeah.
But we wanted to, you know, bring that to your attention, but you know what,
And it's probably gonna be just like the jail was the first year, we don't know, so we might, we'll have to make adjustments during the year or.
Yeah.
For the next.
I think we're really close, and I don't think we're far off at all. At all. It's like on salary.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You better grab that dude. It's what that.
yeah, you better walk her down. Or in there.
Yeah,
Who's that?
a nurse.
Oh, yeah.
But if they want that, you know, I don't know, can they get by with a part-time nurse at the health department?
If there are hours, not part of that, it's flexible hours.
And
Because Macy would even work flexible hours over there, and she started. How you do it now, it's just all over.
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, so if they come in for the vaccine or the flu shot or whatever, they still have to make an appointment, right? So if the nurse is part-time, they'll have to make an appointment on the day she's there, so.
If you have all hours certain time. Just have a schedule.
If you do a Monday or a Friday off, it'd be better to have them on Monday.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people work 4-day work weeks and taking Fridays off, so that'll allow them to take their kids to get back to the.
Seeing person like, if they don't have our insurance, they go on PRN, you know, Saturday, Sunday, work 1 or 2 weekends a month, make them, make
Right.
40, 50, $60 an hour, whatever. Or we can pay them a lower rate, but they can still make the salary.
Make a holiday for somebody or that's right.
We were just trying to entice it to other good person and still not cut the salary.
Right. I'll just have to bring my mother-in-law out and prepare.
Exactly. It's sad to think that 56,000 is half of something.
She's not driving a driver. I'll stick her back in a uniform.
Okay. So, okay, things that we could talk with potential nurse and see what they're gonna negotiate.
And we'll talk with the board too, just to kind of keep them okay.
Anyway, that's, what, you know. that's what we want to do now. You guys have any other questions or?
Anybody have any? Okay.
Anything else?
Colleen gave you a copy of all the discussions that we've had on our nightly meetings on the budget. Just give you some things to look at for Monday. Okay, so CEDA, the budget is 1.4 million. And we get about 525,000 a year. So we're gonna have to look at that. Public safety budget's 804,000. And we average 612,000. County general, we got it down to 8.1 million. And we average 7.2 million a year. We're okay on the 911, I think we're in good shape there. Cuban Bridge, we're good. Cuban Capital Development, we may have to. Our budget's okay, but we have a little surplus, we may have to use some of that for these other funds, because there's just. I don't know how we get that much more, because we've got to take care of the employees. Same way, Cuban reassessment, we got a balance, so okay there. Local roads, we got that pretty close to what we're gonna receive in. The biggest thing is highway restricted and county highway unrestricted. We got the highway restricted down to 1.4 million, and that's about what we're gonna get next year, so we're in good shape there, but the county highway unrestricted, even with the cuts, is 2.1 million, and we're gonna expect about 1.7 million next year, so we're still about 400,000 on that, so. Look over all your papers and we'll discuss, see what we can do on Monday, and we'll see that 1.4 million. Total budget, we got about 525,000.
The ARPA money, how much ARPA money do we have?
Okay, so,
Oh, I think I have that, those ARPA funds I have.
yeah, we received $3,178,456.22. Okay, so we gave Hillsborough, we committed 450,000. Now Kingman, 450,000. And Attica, 500,000. We spent 176,358 on the body cams. I'm like $176,358. And we committed up to 40,000 to the engineering firm on Maple Corner. We committed not to exceed 54,000 on the 911 center.
Sorry.
54,000, I believe, subcontract, I said it was not to exceed that, so.
I probably will have.
What we're gonna need to make.
Well, the number one. Yeah, we haven't heard back from the architect, Have you?
No, they just got married, what, 2 weeks ago to finalize those plans, so they're getting close to Center Drawing.
Okay.
Architects and governments.
I think Monday I'll be asking you guys to
167.
reappropriate some of the money
Here's the total on that.
in ARPA fund. Transfer around, and then we're probably gonna have to ask for an additional on the money that we earmarked. I mean, it's there, we just gotta put it in.
167.
Proper procedures.
Okay.
Part 1.5.
Yeah, we'll go over that, so.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to.
Uh,
Yeah.
and
Yes, yes.
are the, solar panels coming Monday? Did you ever get back?
I will confirm that tomorrow.
Okay. I don't have a full meeting Monday. But that, there were several things that we circled to discuss, like. Well, I think we already decided on the, we talked about IT possibly being a full-time position, but. We believe we should wait and look at that when Maple Corner is done, because at that point, the contract may be more than what we can pay an IT person. But I think we're gonna go with the contract.
Well, we talked a little bit about,
Yeah.
brief, just about having.
The county maintenance guy.
Yes, because we're gonna jail, and
With all
All
these
the
buildings, jail, and all the new stuff, it's not just the boiler and hearing, or it's all kinds of.
Well, jail can be a full-time job
Yeah,
itself.
yeah. But you
and economic development, we left that open to.
And I don't know, he sees that as a pretty good opportunity there too, on a different scale.
Right.
Is-
He presented a plan,
Yeah.
White
But-
presented. a
But
plan.
then you could go back to a grant writer, you could get an economic development person that could do grant writing, that might solve.
Yes.
And I did have an individual reach out to me because, she didn't know she's from Montgomery County, Crawfordsville. And whether we contract, or we become part of like, broadband, for economic development, because I think we're at that point, we really need to
There's,
press forward.
there's so many missed opportunities that we have on the grants.
And I think we're all seeing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's too much for all of us to handle on our own.
I know Park County, we met with the lady in Park County, that's doing all there, so she's full-time, has her own organization, I think the contract with her, and just all the time, brings it to her. Also,
I would think that what you pay somebody to do grant search
Oh.
and writing is definitely paid.
it's really, a lot of their funds in that grant, there's an allocated set of funds in that grant that they get paid once they get the grant, yeah.
And we got there.
Yeah.
We also need to make sure we apply for every bit of community crossing money. That's the only way we're gonna make up that $500,000. So we got next year, I'm sure. We gotta use community crossing money every time.
I think Jason's very happy on.
I know.
Yeah, I-
one year Rusty didn't.
It's just, it's been awesome that he is taking care of the work, he includes us in those emails, so I know things are getting done. Question, do we know any more on the salt barn? I know he talked about maybe ARPA funds for doing that, but you said something about he needed to get some, he needed to get quotes, yeah. So is he going to, has he, I've not seen another quote.
He was supposed to reach in, he said he was.
Well, we got that one, but it's not apples to apples.
Oh, yeah, he
Right.
did, yeah, yeah,
It was like just partial, and that was the only thing I thought he said he could find,
yeah.
but. Correct me if I'm wrong, did he
salt barn.
say that we weren't gonna do rock?
Yes.
Nobody.
Well, that was brought up, that maybe we wouldn't use our, I don't know what other funds, but the council want to know what it is right now.
Yeah.
Don't know where it's gonna, we don't.
I
And
can
we
ask,
haven't got figures for the thing corners.
Yeah,
so I-
we gotta keep money in reserve
Yeah.
for funds to cover around.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys all for allowing us to kind of face Jason, has done a fantastic job.
Yes.
It's going really well.
You
Great.
know, I've told people, you know, that have come to me about their roads, just be patient.
I
Try and do the best you can here.
mean, now that we're back in school, and you're like, we've got a lot of ground on travel roads, and if there's an issue. If any of my drivers, it's a text away, and by 24 hours, it's fixed. And it goes back.
I mean, what I think is gonna be next, I'll get out to it next week, next thing you know, I'm getting a text from that individual. Thank you for coming out,
Yeah,
fixing my road.
before we would have got. Go after.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's where it's supposed to.
It's made my job easier.
Yes. A lot easier.
There's just one thing I want to say, I told you that.
be. Good,
And it's on this economic development. We're trying to make hospital communities. Now, yeah, well, back here, that was mentioned, we're looking for an applicant. Well, that's a whole new job for county, that's Colorado. We gotta have, there's 40 jobs there. Posted on Facebook.
25 or 10
We're hiring. He's got something, he's anybody say what you did. I think we need to work on keeping our own businesses, we've been paying. The taxes and payroll tax and keeping the towns going. I can remember when Harrison Steel was 5 times bigger. My mom and my grandparents spoke with them. I spent a lot of time with 12 weeks from and at the country, and at the high school. And downtown was booming in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I remember that was my big thing to go from Hillsborough. And see, we used to play in the C&D junkyard back there on the lake. Oh, I wonder.
Floating. Well, Jim, since you mentioned that, you know, the school superintendent, I was on the phone, because there are some grants out there to try and get some of these youth interested in working at Harrison Steel, whatever, that they need to work together, and I think that's where we're at, and that's what Rob was bringing up, that.
But it involves sweat, dirty clothes, and blizzard, and you can't find anybody that doesn't want to work for 2 months.
Yeah.
And that's what these kind of jobs are. Or taking your cup of coffee to the coffee shop. I'm not demeaning in that part. You gotta, but
Get the bag.
I grew up sweating every day. We all did. We didn't come from stuff where you had, you know, the cash register, you used to work at the grocery store. You had to pull the lever. You know, and I don't know what we're missing the boat on just keeping things going like they are. You know, I mean, somebody will work on it, everybody's working. Who's gonna do it? Everybody I know is driving the semi now, they're hard.
You also gotta find a way to stop the Attica kids going to Seeger.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that,
I mean, I like to know what percentage, you know, the high school.
A lot.
towns.
a lot.
I've got my mother lost for that maybe.
Can, we're ready to close.
Yeah.
Okay, can I get a motion from you guys to?
I'll make.
All in favor?
The motion to close the council.
Aye.
Guys, Kelly second, all in favor? Okay.
If several people are there, here will just get back.
No, we will not be taking a vote. I mean, this is for information. That the last time I talked to them, which was before July, is that they said they would like it voted on before the end of the year. And I told them I was gonna be on vacation